Welcome to a Milk Market Tidbit to review the October Federal Milk Marketing Order that was released this week. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones, and I'm recording this on Wednesday morning, November 15th. So I want to start with really the big picture, and these might be new format of graphs for you, but this is the daily class 4 milk that's in the Federal Milk Marketing Pool. The line at the top is kind of the maximum that we've seen since 2020, and the graph kind of shows you how much milk is in the pool. And right now, very little class 4 milk was in the pool, so that says we are depooling a whole pile of class 4 milk. And if you look across the nation, you can see the usual suspects. California decreased their percentage of class 4 by 10%, the Northwest by almost 11%, Texas by 4%. And then, as usual, the Northeast does not depool. And so that's kind of the truest federal milk marketing order relative to depooling. So here are our statistical uniform prices. 24.99 in Florida, which was pushing 25 pretty hard, and then we had 17.28 in the Minnesota, Wisconsin, which is the lowest. And we look at how they changed month over month, which I think is more important because all of the statistical uniform prices that have class 4D pooled are going to be particularly low. But what drives the change is a combination of depooling and how the actual class prices change. And you can see the difference between 3 and 4 is almost $4, and so that's why it was depooling. But class 3 dropped $1.55, which is why Minnesota, Wisconsin is down, that $1.32. And class 4 came up $2.40. So even California dropped 60 cents, but that's because they took the $2.40 higher profitable milk out of the pool. Now, the one thing that remained very strong were the fat values. 4.42 in the Northwest, which was always the highest. The lowest is usually Florida, but that's still at 3.88. And across the nation, weighted for milk is about 4.17. Last month, you might remember, it was 408, so that's going to be up significantly. And so we'll use this estimate in overall USDA reports until we get the final fat value, which comes in the egg prices. Protein values were strong, but not nearly as strong as what fat values were. And again, we only get these for a few. 321 in the Northeast, 349 in the Northwest would kind of be the brackets there. So I want to go back to this graph, which is the capacity, as I call it, of the different classes and the total at the same time. So this month we had 27% of the milk was class 1, and that's going to be the orange number down here, and that's fairly consistent. 10% was class 2, that's the green line down here, that's the soft products. Class 3 is 56%. That's going to be this red one. You see where we depooled back here, but we're basically not depooling. We're pretty well running close to capacity. And then class 4, which is the purple one, which is way down. And so again, we have capacity that's clear up in here for class 4, but it was just taken out of the pool. So here's our class 3 to kind of end up here, the same place we started. You can see it's down a little bit, and I think what that is probably some plants that are not running at full capacity. We did have some cheese plants shut down for maintenance. Again, you see a drop like this when it's being depooled, but we're running pretty well at capacity, plus or minus just a little bit. So here's my take as I look at the federal milk marketing data, and it's very hard to make sense of it. And the biggest thing is there was significant class 4 depooling. And there was a significant class 4, class 3 spread of almost over $4. So whenever we see that, we're going to see, depooling. $1.75 is kind of the number that everybody looks at, that it's worth depooling, the higher one. Components are very strong, and so that tells us again that we're going to need less milk to get the same amount of fat that we had previously. And I'm projecting the October over September production. Right now, I think it's going to be flat or maybe up a little bit. And so we'll have to take a look at the milk production report that comes out on Monday. But this is going to be a significant issue to drive cow numbers. If it's up a little bit, then cow numbers had to have come up. And so I'm somewhere between flat and up 1%. The National Dairy Sales Report is coming out today on the 15th. That's the last report for the week. And then next week is really compressed with Thursday and Friday being holidays. But we get the milk production report, a global dairy trade, the National Dairy Sales Report, and the advanced prices and the cold storage report. So significant amount of data next week.